in a restaurant in Los Angeles, and a woman in her 70s walked past my table just staring at me as she walked past. And I didn't think anything about it until I noticed out of the corner of my eye the same woman was coming from the opposite direction, just staring at me as she walked past. And so to be nice, I looked up and I said, "Hello, how are you?" And she took 2 steps forward and she said, "You know, if you dyed your hair black, you would look just like Al Gore." So I'm very conscious of the age gap here. I remember so well when I was the age of many of you in this audience today, on the eve of the inauguration of President John F. Kennedy. And snow was on the ground that morning, and he gave that magnificent speech. You heard one of the quotations from it earlier. And it made such an impact on me. And I can tell you that this experience, not only being here in this auditorium, but the whole experience is one, you already know this, that you will look back on for the rest of your lives. But I want to ask you to take just a moment to reflect on what the deeper meaning of this experience will be for you. Not just in your head, but in your heart and in your whole being. When I was young, somebody told me a simple story that seems kind of dull, but it made a point that stuck with me. A young man and a young woman were faced with the task of walking across a desert landscape strewn with huge boulders and cut with ravines. And they walked and walked, and they were careful to watch where they were stepping because the footing was not that great. And they found that they had wandered into one of these ravines that became a kind of a box canyon, and they had to turn around and come back out. And they walked a ways, and they came up upon a large boulder, larger than the others, and they decided to climb up on top of that boulder and look toward the horizon. And they found a kind of a pathway that would allow them to avoid getting trapped in ravines and waste time and effort they needed to get to the other side. And from that vantage point, they mapped out the course they wished to follow. They still paid attention to where they placed their feet, but they knew roughly where they were going and how they would get there. The point of that story to me is that this extraordinary few days for you is an opportunity for you to climb up to a high vantage point and look at the horizon of your lives, to think deeply about what it is you'd like to do. Keep your footing, be careful, but find a pathway. And even though it's not something people normally do and most resist doing it, think about what you would like to look back upon at the end of your lives. What would you like your life to have meant? What would you like to stand for? What values would you like to follow? I know that quickly gets into subjects that are hard to think about, but trust me on this. You will look back on this occasion, and if during this time you can find ways to think deeply about what you want to be in your life. You know the famous quotation from Mahatma Gandhi, "You must become the change you wish to see in the world." This is the time for you to chart your course. Young people have always played a key role in our democracy and in our democratic institutions, and the critical issues we're facing now, I'm just going to touch on 3 of them, are ones that can greatly benefit from your passion and your involvement and commitment. I know that each of you faces a daunting array of opportunities from which you will have to choose. And you don't have to do that today or this year, but again, you won't find a better opportunity to think about it and form your core commitments. I feel your energy and enthusiasm, and it is infectious and wonderful. And I know enough from my own work with people in your generation to be extremely impressed with the levels of involvement in community organizations and volunteerism and civic activism. It's really fantastic. And the internet has opened up so many new ways to organize together and to bring a group of friends and like-minded young people to share the beliefs that you feel passionately and to make a difference in the world. I know also that you must have some underlying level of concern that all this energy and enthusiasm in these few days might dissipate. Well, it doesn't have to. Some of you will find in these shared experiences a source of energy and passion that will last you all of your lives. I know that some of you have had disappointments in your life, and all of you will have others. But let me tell you, if you have a disappointment, just pick yourself up and keep going. You can overcome it.